Hello, this is Living Room Requests with Matt Redman. I'm Patricia Hammond, and this is a request from Thomas. There are 4 numbers from an unrecorded operetta from the middle of the 1920s.
Really?
By Carita von Horst called
So it's in
Gentleman
German.
Jack, Kavalier Jack, and this is the first of 4 that we're going to do. It's called Heimatlos, which is...
It's a difficult word because, as you know, there's many words in different languages that don't have an English equivalent. For now, we're going to placehold it with longing for a homeland that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
But you can hear him trudging through, trying to find it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Nie ein Herz, das lieb bereit, kein Heimatsglück seinem Frieden. Mir war in meiner Kinderzeit kein sonnenhelles Los beschieden. Ich bin gewandert immerzu, gehetzt, gejagt von meinem Schatten. Ich fand nie Rast, ich fand nie Ruhe für meinen Fuß, den Matten. Heimatlos, heimatlos, zieh durch die Welt. Heimatlos, heimatlos, weil nichts dich hält. Stehst ganz allein und die Welt ist so groß. Wandre, nur wandre, bist ja doch heimatlos. Heimatlos, heimatlos, zieh durch die Welt. Heimatlos, heimatlos, weil nichts dich hält. Stehst ganz allein und die Welt ist so groß. Wandre, nur wandre, bist ja doch heimatlos.
So Thomas, I'm going to put links. There's going to be links. I'm telling you now. And if you don't have a way, if you're watching this on one of those smart TVs, just Google Operetta Research Center.
Okay, that sounds quite constant.
Operetta Research Center, a website I have been admiring for many years, and amazingly got in touch with one of the people who writes for it, a wonderful man, Thomas Krebs. He is a great researcher, and he wrote an article about this lady, Carita von Horst. And the title of his article, you can look it up and you can read it. The title is, and he wrote it in 2020. Carita von Horst, 1864 to 1934, the Baroness who composed Gentleman Jack and bamboozled Hitler.
Right.
How's that for some sort of clickbait, whatever? It isn't clickbait, it's all real, but the bit that I'm particularly
She
interested
suspiciously
in...
died in 34, which is just after Hitler came to power, right?
Well, it's
I don't know.
very
I'll have to read it.
intriguing. It's intriguing about the business of... apparently, she was really, towards the end of her life, she was really into astrology a lot. And apparently, Hitler was really, really dedicated to visiting her for astrological readings. And because she was American and she didn't like him, and so she just told him wrong things and predictions that ended up in his demise. And I think there should be a movie about this, because can you imagine Hitler's own personal astrologer.
That's amazing.
Who is American living in Coburg, and who so says, "Oh yes, you will die underground." Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And then it haunts him throughout, and like his whole downfall can be traced back to this one woman.
Only a living room request, so we can connected to such interesting people like Thomas.
Yes.
And gonna be allowing these kind of insights when you just think you just came for some little songs.
And
that's just the beginning,
and
isn't
it? She wrote music. She was American, and she married a very rich, a baron, who he sold hops apparently. I guess if you're German and you sell hops, you make a lot of money because it's beer is quite popular. So they tell me
they like it.
And this gentleman Jack, and I will hopefully on Instagram I'll share the wonderful artwork.
Yeah.
It's not Gentleman Jack is in the the mini series or the series on is it the BBC? Really, really good, very interesting, sort of Yorkshire lesbian, I guess you'd say. Anyway, Gentleman Jack's really a good series, but yeah, it's not that. It's more like Raffles the Gentleman Thief. But yeah, so there's going to be four numbers from this. I think it's very, very rare. Thomas was responsible for having this scanned, and I can put the link to the music. So we're going to do 4 in all. This is the first one. And so you have this sort of orchestral sort of.
Well, it's just I liked on this guitar because it's got a lot of strings. You can do a
That's
lot.
More orchestral.
You can do
with
a lot
strings.
of what's the word? Loud and quiet. Like on a normal guitar, it's difficult to go from. I think Mike's number, but it's difficult to go from playing like to like. There's a lot more sustain, a lot more ring. So there's a lot more sustain and ring, and there's a lot more dynamic range that I can achieve with.
True.
I almost can't do that with the other ones.
It's
I can do it, but it is less sustained.
Interesting.
And that's much
It
more
does
like
ring.
that playing, yeah.
It rings.
Like
You
this.
tune it. You do tune it.
It's going, isn't it? Because it's tuned down, the strings ring for longer because they're slacker.
Heimatlos.
Can you hear that? It's
Yes.
like a rings for longer.
Yeah. You wouldn't have thought of the 12 string. You'd think just, kind of 1970s.
Oh,
yeah.
no, the 12 string, as my colleague Greg Miner has written a whole piece about it, was originating in the USA in the late 1880s.
There you go, guys.
It was for volume, of course. So they started to double the 3 thin strings first, and then gradually...
and then they worked their way down.
I think the first instrument, I can't remember off the top of my head, it's in my research, I've quoted it, but it's I think the first instrument with 12 strings all doubled on a standard guitar's tuning was approximately around 1900, yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So I dressed in this kind of, it looks like a sort of artsy German 1920s.
It really does.
Kind of get up, and tried to do the same with my hair. Because it is an interesting time, the 1920s, and so she premiered it in where she lived in Coburg, and of course it was a great hit, and they had a wonderful after show party, of which there's a photograph online you can see, I believe in the article that Thomas wrote, and it looks like a good time. And then I guess they went, oh, hey, let's try Berlin, and it played for a lot of performances. I'm being enumerate, I can't remember the number, but played for a lot of performances in Berlin. So it did fairly well, but now completely forgotten. Completely, a lot of things got forgotten. A lot of things got displaced. Things happened in that part of the world.
We've got a lot of the characteristics from a musical point of view that we've seen in other German light opera and shows from this period that we've played on this exact channel.
Oh yeah,
a lot of
Maid of the Mountains.
A lot of compositional devices that we don't tend to get in similar music of Timpanelli and the American stage. I mean, some people are going to jump up and say that's wrong, but I mean, I'm saying that as a
I like that image.
as a
jumping up.
light generalized statement. But having played 50 songs from one and maybe 15 from the other, it's and if I was to paraphrase and to choose a word and put it in a box, I would say it's more classical than American theatre music of the same period, and by that I mean
Oh yes.
the voice,
Oh,
the
yes, they
parts,
were
the
deeply
parts are more
seated.
intricate and much more reminiscent of Brahms, you know,
This is a good.
than,
This is a good thumbnail. Why don't we just sort of
than Gershwin.
thumbnail? Heimatlos. Yeah. 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 It is. It is. It is deeply seated in.
I mean, we can go into
musical
way more
literature,
detail, but it could be
literacy.
hours.
Yeah, yeah, because musical literacy was such a big thing.
Yeah, particularly passing notes and passing chords are more numerous and intricate, and such as, you know, if you think about music like in the choir, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, or something, such intricacies whereby the inner parts, being the alto and the tenor, also have very interesting parts as opposed to the outside ones. That's not to say that Gershwin music doesn't have that, but I'm just saying you see that a lot less in American stage music. And I think it was about when it came to published domestic sheet music, more people being able to play the songs. And the German ones are slightly harder usually to play on the piano.
Yes, for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, in some of the late 30s ones,
and
very
to
hard.
transcribe outside. But yeah. So the Operetta Research Center, one of those wonderful, it's sort of charitable. They do these wonderful articles where you read them and you go, I want to hear all of this. I want to know more. And so
Definitely.
good for Thomas, taking it that step further. And actually paying us. It's not that much money, but yeah, it's
£40
for one person
on
to come
PayPal.
up with, you know, for and to put it out there and say, well, what did it sound like? So we've given you one version, and then the next person doing it will be that much easier for them. They'll be able to look at mine and ours and go, that's terrible. I'm gonna do it way faster. I'm gonna use a piano.
If you want to make your own request, go to patriciahammond.com/request. Click the link in the description, or simply Google Patricia Hammond living room request, or you can even just Google living room request, or you can search on Alexa, or you can search on any. We can't say it, can you? Because everybody's devices go off.
I see.
You can search on any form of searching device by voice, living room requests, and it will take you to that website.
Strangely.
And that'll do it. Yeah.
Strangely.
Okay. See you next time.
See you next
Thanks
time,
again.
and there will be 3 more from this operetta.
Yay.